China.
If you have the slightest interest in China, or what is happening in this oriental country, you might have heard of the term 5-year plan, which is very often connected to China's top legislative authorities, think tanks, or the speech of its president, Xi Jinping.
“13.5 圆满收官 ”，“14.5 全面擘画
Beginning from the first 5-year plan, which started in 1953, China has seen the completion of 13 such plans over the years. Now, the country is in the first year of its 14th 5-year plan. Literally speaking, the 5-year plan is similar to terms like vision or perspective in Western political jargons. But is this Chinese term the same thing? Let's get to the bottom of it. In 1950, the Korean War broke out on the Korean Peninsula. In addition to the two Koreas, forces from the US, China, and Soviet Union were involved. The conflict also ignited industrial competition and arms race worldwide. Back then, China was recovering from decades of war and was still too young to get a full grasp of its domestic affairs. Including a backward agricultural system, they had to feed about 600 million people in a poorly developed industrial system. Even though that was mid-20th century, almost 100 years after the start of the Second Industrial Revolution in Europe. Under such dire situation, Soviet Union lent China a helping hand and sent thousands of experts and tons of technologies to China. However, after the Korean War ended, the two countries started to drift apart. In 1960, Soviet Union withdrew all of their experts from China and halted construction of hundreds of contracted projects. Trade between China and Soviet Union, as well as countries in Eastern Europe, cooled down immediately. At the same time, the whole country was in a manic state that the people were dedicating all their enthusiasm to steelmaking. Not a single aluminum pulp could survive. They planned it and believed that within 15 years, the country would surpass the UK and the US. The second 5-year plan started well, but the momentum did not last. It took China 3 years to adjust its development plans after the second plan. Well, didn't go as planned. The country's relation with Soviet Union was so tense that the latter once deployed over 1 million soldiers on a 2-kilometer section of its border with China. In 1965, 10 years after the outbreak of Vietnam War, China was asked to join the fight. With one neighbor caught in a war and another poised to start a war, China had to put national defense in top priority. At the same time, a domestic immigration to the West was taking place. China's concerns were, first, the heavy industries in the northeast were in the attack range of Soviet bombers and made missiles. And second, the Shanghai-centered industrial zone could be under threat from US aircraft carriers on the East China Sea. China's solution was to relocate national defense industries, technology institutions, as well as factories to the west. And the first step was to build railways and roads at a frenzied speed. The political unrest in China, which started in 1966, became white hot during this period. There was no normal social order, and this eventually led to a continued decrease in the growth of GDP over these years. China had to adjust its 5-year plan in 1973 to adapt to the social situation and productive capabilities at that time. When the brotherhood between China and Soviet Union were fading away, the China-US relation was expecting an icebreaking. Henry Kissinger paid a secret visit to China in 1971 to pave way for Richard Nixon's official visit next year, which was dubbed the spring of Sino-US relation after World War II. President Nixon visited the Great Wall, tried baijiu, and took back a couple of candles. The year of 1976 was a gloomy one. Although the political unrest finally ended, China soon lost several key leaders, including Mao Zedong and Zhou Enlai. Not to mention the massive death toll of nearly 250,000 in a tremendous earthquake near Beijing. Chinese people were expecting something that could ease the pain and lead them back to normal life. But what could this something be? Deng Xiaoping paid an official visit to Japan in 1978 and another to the US the next year. As the first ever Chinese leader to visit two developed countries after World War II, we cannot imagine how surprised Deng must have been when he found the sticky rice could be cooked within minutes with microwave ovens, or the sense of urgency he must have really felt when he put on the cowboy hat and smiled in front of the media. However, two things were definitely on his mind: reform and opening up.